Hi class, thanks for taking the time to watch my final video for this course. The discussion board that we're talking about today is about safety and the advances of safety. One of the things we talk about is crew resource management and how has that changed, and is it better or worse than the old days where the captain was always right? And I think statistically, the numbers speak for themselves. We can even look at a specific example. If you look at Asiana Flight 214 flying into San Francisco that crashed into the seawall just short of the runway, I think that that's a good example of how the old way it isn't a conducive environment because there was a crew member that noticed something was off or wrong, and because of the cultural environment that they were in, they didn't say something. Thankfully, most of the people in that accident survived. Um, it could have been avoided in the financial aspect, and even for the passengers that did survive, I'm sure it was absolutely terrifying. We get other tools that have been developed in aviation over the development of the course of from when it began. Simple things that most aviators might even just kind of take for granted now is, radios. We talk on radios, and, that's been a huge implementation of safety from prior days where radio technology existed, but it wasn't very well developed, and it certainly wasn't widely available. Now it's actually almost hard to find an airplane that doesn't have a radio in it. The development of uh, things like the phonetic alphabet. You have a certain way of how to say this so that it helps spell things out, and it's a standard operating procedure basically that says this is how we're going to talk about the alphabet so that B, C, D, E all don't sound ridiculous over the radios, and you can clearly understand Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and there's no confusion. And then we also have things like standard phraseology, a specific way to say something so that there's no confusion about the meaning of it. It takes away the ambiguity of how one phrase may be interpreted two different ways. If you say one specific phrase and it's taught that that means one specific thing, then you can remove that ambiguity and thus improve safety as well. The quote from The Naked Pilot about technology advancing over the last 100 years more than the human brain has over the last 100,000. I agree with it in the sense that it's a true statement. Um, but with better technology and better understanding of ourselves, we can design that technology to better fit our our specific human needs. One thing that can be an example of this is ergonomics. The ergonomics of how a chair feels is a big improvement over how a chair was built 100 years ago. People didn't understand that lower back pain was associated with sitting in a chair the wrong way. And now our understanding of ourselves has allowed that technology to grow and help alleviate things like that, but also towards the aviation industry as well. So again, I think it's true, but with better tech and better understanding comes a better fit for our human needs so that we can operate in a more safe environment. The Q says that we should be open and respectful to others based on biblical readings, but we also must not be silent when dealing with issues that involve safety of flight. And it asks, how do we deal with that dichotomy? I think that it's a balance. There's a balance between these two ideas that it's possible to bring up an issue without being disrespectful to someone else. And even if that's in a disagreement, you can still disagree with someone without disrespecting them. And I think you can find a little bit of that in 2 Timothy 2:24, which says, "And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but must be kind to everyone, able to teach, not resentful." And I think that that's key, specifically in the crew resource environment, that able to teach is such a key fundamental phrase in that verse that, if the first officer notices that the captain is descending, you know, hey, um, your altitude's 100 feet lower than what I thought we were assigned. You can bring that up without disrespecting the captain. You can bring up the issue though still. And I think that finding that balance, time and place, if you're thousands of feet lower, then you might escalate how quickly and how assertively you bring up that, oh goodness, we're 2,000 feet low, we need to get back up now. That's an assertive gesture, because at that point you're significantly off and it requires a significant response. That's the end of my video, and I appreciate all of the interactions that we've had throughout this course, and I look forward to the feedback on this video, and I look forward to seeing what you all have prepared as well.